Chase, in the previous couple of years at the road course at Indianapolis, we've seen how chaotic the race can really be. I was just wondering, from a driver standpoint, is there anything from your end where you think that there's any like strategies or anything like that that you could possibly do to avoid the chaos?
It's hard. I mean, I feel like you're never safe there, truthfully. I mean, you can be in the front row, you can be in the middle, you can be in the back row. I mean, I think I've wrecked in all three of those scenarios. So you're never safe there, especially on restarts. That turn one is just such chaos every single time. I do think that with the new format, or I guess we're changing the start finish line, or not start finish line, but the restart zone potentially. I think if we do that, it might help turn one a little bit, but you're still going to have chaos just because we're going so fast. That's probably the biggest delta I feel like in turn one versus straightaway speed out of any road course we go. I guess Coda would maybe be close, but Coda's not near as narrow as what Indy is. So I just feel like you're always open to chaos there and just calamity every time you have restarts there, just with how narrow it is in that section of the racetrack. But yeah, I don't know if there's any strategy you can pull necessarily to be safe from all that.
Hey, sorry if this has been already asked, but I'm curious what you're looking for out of the tire test on Monday and Tuesday.
Um, I don't really know. I don't know what it's supposed to necessarily feel like there. Um, I think for me, I'm just looking for our team just to try to get more of an understanding of what we need on the bigger tracks. On the short tracks, I feel like we can go compete for top tens, top fives fairly, not easily, but just a lot more doable. Where on the big tracks, I mean, it's a struggle to run 20th. So I think for us out of this test, we're just trying to figure out what that feel is. And even though Indy is such a unique racetrack compared to all the others, that's probably the one thing that I would say we're looking for the most. But from a feel standpoint, I just wanted to drive comfortable. Obviously Indy, we need to have a durable tire. But I do think you need one that kind of wears out and has a little bit of fall off, as weird as, or as hard as that's probably to get it Indy to have a big like fall off delta. But I definitely think we need to have a durable tire. You don't want another race like we had whatever that one year was where they were blowing tires all the time. So yeah, I think if we're going to go back to the oval, it needs to be a really good race, especially the first one. So hopefully, if we do that, we can find a tire at this test to kind of put on a good product.
Thank
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Let's go to Trey Downey. Go ahead, Trey.
Hey, Chase, next week at Watkins Glen, where would you rank Watkins Glen as far as your comfort and confidence level as far as the road courses go, and compared to all of the road courses and this weekend at Indy?
I would say it's kind of middle of the road. It's definitely not the worst one confidence wise that we go to. I would say that's Sonoma by a lot, but it's definitely not at the top of the list either. I would say it's somewhere kind of in the middle. I feel like if it rains, then I feel really good about it. Last year in the rain there, we were able to win stage one and be really good in the wet there. So if it was to be wet, I feel really good about it. In the dry, I don't feel as good there. I've always been, good there, but never fast enough to really lead or be up front. I'm always kind of that 10th to 12th area. So I definitely need a little bit more there for whatever reason. I just can't seem to find it. But I would say I'm confident going there. It's one that I look forward to, especially as we get, 3 races left to lock into the playoffs. I feel like those are, 2 good opportunities. Just the road courses have always been statistically good for us. So hopefully we can have a good run this weekend and a good run next weekend. But I would say that the confidence level is kind of somewhere in the middle when we go to Watkins Glen.
And then at Daytona, your 2 years that you raced there in the cutoff race, the first year you needed to win to get into the playoffs. Last year you were already locked in. Like, what's kind of the difference in the mindset going into that race in those 2 different situations?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I don't know. I felt like my rookie year, I didn't really do a very good job in general on the super speedways, and even now, I still have a lot to learn. But I feel like honestly, the mindset was a lot the same in the sense of just try to get to the end. The year that we needed to get a win my rookie year, obviously you can't win the race if you're on the hook or if you're in the garage. So, just trying to survive to the end and end up getting in a crash. And then, the second race last year, it was kind of the same mentality, truthfully, just get to the end because, we didn't have to win. But if you could win, it was just more playoff points. and we got to where the rain was coming. I started getting aggressive, and I think I crashed actually leading the race around in second. So I don't know. I think you got to get to the end. I mean, we saw that last year with Austin. Just there was only like 10 or 12 cars even on the racetrack, and if you can miss the big wreck at the end because the desperation is going to be so high, you can kind of sneak away with one. And truthfully, I think this year is going to be the most chaotic one, just because you have so many good cars that are going to be in desperation mode. You look at the 48, the 99, the 9. There's just a ton of really, really good cars that are going to have to win probably to get in. So it's going to be probably the most exciting cutoff race I think we've ever had in the history of the sport. And hopefully all of us, come out of that deal safe, because there's definitely going to be a lot of, I feel like, really, really aggressive moves and just guys that are going to be on the rev limiter when it comes to the aggressive meter.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, gang, we got about 3 or 4 minutes left here before we're going to have to run. Let's go to Brian Eberly. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, Chase, how's it going? You're running the SRX race tomorrow night at Eldora. How did that opportunity come about for you? When did you find out about it? And kind of what's your outlook for tomorrow night there?
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've never got a race against Tony, and obviously everybody here knows that he was my absolute hero. So for me, that was the biggest draw to run SRX. Was just I wanted to be able to say that I raced against Tony at some point in my career, and obviously know that time was kind of dwindling down, as he's probably not going to ever come run a NASCAR race. So the opportunity truthfully came super last minute. Last Thursday, I think at like 3:00, Hawk called me and was like, "Hey, we got an opening. Would you be interested in coming and running SRX?" They're like, "We're going to try to announce it at 7:00 or 8:00, whenever the TV window is tonight." So it was super last minute. Like I said, I literally found out Thursday afternoon. So yeah, looking forward to it. High Point, my cup sponsor is going to be on it too, which is really cool. And it's at Eldora, which is super special to me in general. And racing against my boss, and hopefully can beat him at his own racetrack.
Awesome. And where's your truck win in 2018 there rank amongst your career accomplishments for you?
I would say honestly that's like third or fourth. I would put the Indy Xfinity race over it. My first cup win would be there. And honestly, the Darlington race is obviously there. But outside of that, I mean, I would put the Eldora truck win right there with the cup race, just from a personal standpoint. For me, growing up a dirt guy, Eldora was my Daytona. If you got a race at Eldora, it meant something. And I feel like all of my heroes were always able to win at Eldora and pull onto that stage there on the front straightaway. So for me, Eldora is super special for that reason. So it's a privilege every time I get a race there, and hopefully I can pull in victory lane there again.
Thanks, Chase. Good luck tomorrow night and this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we've only got 1 or 2 more minutes, so I did want to check. Lee Spencer, you just chimed in. Do you have a question for Chase before we have to run?
I don't. I'm just kind of trying to catch up on the golf course, but thanks for asking, Dave.
Gotcha. Okay, let's close it out then with Brian Mino. Brian, you get the final question with Chase today. Go ahead.
Hello, Chase. Brian Mino for Victory Lane Network, Argentina. Chase, it has been a difficult season because of the loss of championship and playoff points, but you had the chance to finish race in good position. How do you describe your current season?
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting season, to say the least. I feel like I've never had a season where it's been so just either really, really good day or really, really bad day. We either run top 5, top 10, or we run 30th or worse. There's just no in between. So that part's been just extremely head scratching. It's been hard, even with the loss, when we lost the points at the time, we were in the playoffs or right there on the bubble. And now, even with those points, we wouldn't even be close, I don't think. So, for us right now, we're just trying to truthfully build for next year with the new crew chief. I think we're 5 weeks in now. We know that this season, especially if we don't win one of these next 3 weeks, we're not really racing for anything as far as, playoffs or points go. But we can still make ourselves way better. We have 13 weeks to make ourselves better before the 2024 season, and really kind of find a foundation and just what we need to do as a team. So I think that's our main focus, is just continuing to try to get better. As much as we would love to throw a Hail Mary and try to win one of these next couple races, and even the ones in the past couple weeks, truthfully, we haven't had the speed to do that. So I think first priority is finding the speed to be able to throw Hail Marys, and then try to just build our team to be the best as it can be going into 2024.